As you sit in the hospital room, feeling anxious and unsure about the surgery you're about to undergo to save your leg, the doctor walks in and tells you the procedure has a 95% survival rate. You opt for the surgery, feeling relieved. But what you don't know is that a woman named Susan across town was faced with the same decision today. However, she was told her surgery had a 5% death rate. Susan was terrified. She opted to lump off her leg instead. What you also don't know is that the question is always framed the same way at the respective hospitals every time. At your hospital, the surgery is done 80% of the time, while at Susan's hospital, it is done only 15% of the time. But what happened? The probability of death is equal on each side. Why do the choices differ? Welcome to the Mindful Way. Today we will talk about the framing effect, how it works, how it likely affected you in the past, and how to look out for it so that you can always make the most logical decisions. First, what is it? Have you ever noticed how the way an issue is presented can affect how you or others feel about it? This is known as the framing effect. It refers to the phenomenon where people's understanding and reactions to an issue can be influenced by how it is presented or framed. This can include the words and language used to describe it, the context in which it is presented, and even the visual imagery associated with it. The framing effect is important because it shows how the way information is presented can shape people's perceptions and attitudes towards it, even if the underlying facts are the same. Common examples of the framing effect include political messaging, news headlines, and advertising. The framing effect is so powerful it's used to get more organ donations in some countries. Yes. See, what you are probably used to is a policy where you need to opt into organ donation to be registered, but in countries like Sweden, Slovenia, Portugal, or Norway, you must opt out of organ donation to not be registered. This creates a powerful framing effect both due to anchoring and so-called status quo bias, which means it takes more mental energy and commitment to opt out. The result is in these so-called opt-out countries, more than 90% of people register to donate their organs. Yet in countries such as US and Germany, people must explicitly opt in if they want to donate their organs when they die. In these opt-in countries, fewer than 15% of people register. These examples show how the framing effect can have a significant impact on how people perceive and respond to a problem or decision. This is important to note because it means that, in order to make the best decisions, it is important to be aware of how a situation is framed and how it might affect our decision-making process. The first step to spotting the framing effect is to look out for language that frames a problem in terms of the potential losses or gains. This can be especially true in cases where the decision affects your finances. For example, if you're presented with a choice between a low-risk investment with a low potential return or a high-risk investment with a potentially high return, the framing effect could be at play. The second step to spotting the framing effect is to take a step back and consider the entire situation logically. Ask yourself questions like, what are the real risks and benefits of this decision? What are the long-term consequences of this decision? What are the other options? By taking the time to consider the decision from every angle, you can make sure the framing effect doesn't influence your decision. Finally, it's important to trust your gut. If you feel like something isn't right about the decision, it could be a sign that the framing effect is at work. Take the time to consider the decision carefully and make the best decision for your situation. The framing effect can have a major impact on decision-making, as people tend to be influenced by how an issue is presented to them. It can be used to influence people to make decisions that are beneficial for them, as well as to persuade them to make decisions that are not in their best interest. The framing effect can also be used to influence how people perceive an issue, as well as how they feel and behave. In order to make informed decisions, it is important to consider how an issue is framed and to objectively analyze the issue before making a decision.
Hi there. Thank you for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content. We'll see you in the next video.